Hi, I'm Prana. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. This recording is called The Levels of Trance and Navigating with Heart Coherence. And if you haven't listened to my recording on the subconscious mind, I recommend that you listen to that one first, because in it I define a lot of the terms that I will be using in this recording. I've also made a recording on the mechanism of meditation, and I recommend that one as well, as it might also clarify a lot of the things that I'm mentioning in this recording. And those two recordings plus this one, so 3 in total, create a little package in which I explain the basic mechanism of meditation, which is basically the mechanism of transforming your mind and transforming your reality. So I really wanted to stick to the basic principles that you could apply to any form of holistic spiritual practice, whether it's sound healing, shamanism, or any of the beautiful Eastern traditions and practices, or even homeopathy, because homeopathy works with placebo and energy. And I also hope that what I share in these videos gives you confidence and a deeper understanding into the guided meditations that I share. So I'm not going to go into too much detail in how to astral travel or channel. But even those things like channeling and astral traveling start with the basics. The basics are like learning how to drive a car or learning how to drive a gear shift car. In the first year of driving, you're very consciously aware of all the maneuvers that you have to do. But after 20 years of driving, all these maneuvers happen automatically. But you still do them. You're just no longer so preoccupied with all the different elements. And that's why I think that many spiritual teachers, many great spiritual teachers, leave out these basic elements of the mechanism of meditation, because for them, slipping into the meditative state is natural. It happens instantly, and they no longer have to isolate these little elements. In this recording, we will cover the 3 levels of trance, the physiology of relaxing, the parasympathetic nervous system and the 2 vagus nerves, heart coherence and energy coherence, creating a language, and I will briefly mention your psychic gifts or the psychic senses. First, I would like to start off by saying that I'm only in the position to share the categories or definitions of trance from a hypnosis perspective, because I've never formally studied the yogic perspective. But I know by talking to my yoga teacher and by reading books on yoga, for example, The Autobiography of a Yogi, very famous book, and by listening to stories in passing from my Asian family about monks who enter these meditative states, I know that these states of trance are not isolated to hypnosis. Meditationers experience them as well. So in hypnotherapy, we categorize and isolate these different levels of trance physically by observing physical cues and physical differences. But what happens internally with the consciousness is very different, and that is not something that you can monitor externally. But internally, the state of awareness can go to many different dimensions or levels of perception. And you can navigate these different levels of perception by navigating subtle information or energy. And of course, you navigate energy with resonance. In the beginning, there's a basic sequence of steps that you can follow that attach certain states of awareness with a level of physical trance. The general rule of thumb is that the more relaxed you are physically, the easier it is to become aware of subtle information. But once you've practiced this for a while, you no longer need to take those steps, or you take those steps so quickly that you're no longer aware of you taking those steps. So far, hypnotherapy has identified 3 main levels of physical trance: somnambulism, estale, and secort. In somnambulism, you're in a light state of trance. If your eyelids are closed, they might flicker a little bit, they might not. You still have the ability to move your body. And you actually enter and exit somnambulism, the light state of somnambulism, several times a day when you're watching something, when you're reading a text, or even when you're driving your car. Now, somnambulism goes from light to deep. So when you start going deeper into somnambulism, you start becoming more aware of your inner sensations, or the inner sensations of your body. And you go deeper and deeper until you shift over into the estale state. And it's in this border between deep somnambulism and estale that it becomes easy for you to shift into your higher self or your higher awareness. Now, in the estale state, you have complete natural anesthesia. The outer muscles of your body stop working, the inner muscles switch on, and in most people that creates a stiffening in the body. And maybe you've seen images of people in trance with their limbs sticking out, and that means they're in the estale state. And internally, you have a different sense or different sensory experience of your physical body. Some people feel numb, some people feel spacious, but it's often very deeply relaxing and restorative. And because it's deeply relaxing and restorative, your body and your mind naturally rebalances itself. And because you're in your subconscious mind, you can amplify that rebalancing and restoration by planting in positive affirmations and positive suggestions. Because estale gives you complete natural anesthesia, you can even have surgery performed on you in estale. Cesarean sections, amputations, open heart surgery have all been successfully performed in the estale state. And your body heals faster because it doesn't have to detox all the chemical anesthesia, and you can plant in positive affirmations to optimize the restorative and healing process. Interestingly, the estale state was named after, I think, James Estale, who discovered this state in the 1800s while he was in Calcutta, India. He performed hundreds of surgeries on inmates, and I absolutely believe that he learned about the estale state and learned techniques to enter this state from yogis. Because you don't just stumble across the estale state when you're living in a country that has ancient trance practices stemming from thousands and thousands of years. That just doesn't make sense. But Estale didn't mention meeting yogis or interacting with yogis in any of his field notes. And I believe he didn't mention that because he didn't want to discredit the work and discredit his findings by associating himself with spiritual Hindu yogis. When Mr. Estale returned to the UK, he was kicked out of the British Medical Society anyway because they didn't believe his findings, and they claimed that God designed us to feel pain because if he didn't, we wouldn't feel pain. And within a year, chloroform was introduced into the medical world. And chloroform is, of course, one of the first forms of chemical anesthesia. So there's a state even deeper than the Estale state, and this is known as the Sickert state, named after Walter Sickert. And it's the deepest level of relaxation. And when you're in this state, you feel bliss. But on the external side, on the outside, you look like you could be dead. Your breathing becomes barely noticeable, if at all, and your body becomes completely limp. But you remain fully aware, and depending where you want to go with your consciousness, you can still remain fully aware of everything that's happening in the room. And in the Sickert state, your body regenerates 10 times faster, if not more. So it's the perfect state of trance to put yourself in after an operation. So 90 to 95% of humans have the ability to access these levels of trance. All it takes is a little bit of practice and the belief that you can. And I believe that these levels of trance is how nature designed us to heal, to rebalance, to learn and evolve our minds. And I also believe that these states of trance were designed for us to leave our bodies at the end of our lives, to transition out of the material world gracefully and peacefully. So a common fear I hear a lot is, can I get stuck in hypnosis? Can I get stuck in a deep level of trance? And the answer is a flat out no. It's never happened in the history of mankind. But what does happen sometimes is that when somebody is in a deep level of trance and they're experiencing something or processing something or rebalancing something, they don't necessarily feel like they can cut that process in short and come out of the trance. They usually tend to feel like they want to finish what they were doing before they come back into normal conscious awareness. And this is why they might seem unresponsive from the outside, but it doesn't mean that they are stuck. Here's a simple mind map that hypnotherapists use to explain the higher awareness or the superconscious mind. You see, the normal conscious awareness sits on top, and that's why it thinks it's the boss. But beneath the surface, there's so much going on, just like an iceberg. And the critical factor is a wave that you can pass in and out of. And when you pass the critical factor and you enter subtle information of your subconscious, and the deeper and subtler you go, the more aware you are of your higher awareness. When you shift into your higher awareness, all you have to do is tell it with your intention where you want to go, and it can take you there. Whether it's a current life experience, past life, interdimensional, whether you experience it as personal or extra-personal, technically you are connected to everything and all of that now. There are two things you need to practice to navigate your subconscious mind. The first is the energy that you are resonating, because the energy that you resonate determines where you will go and what you will experience. And heart coherence is the most efficient solution to optimizing your energy. And the second thing is your normal conscious awareness needs to find a way to understand the energy. So you need to create a language to communicate or translate subtle information into your normal conscious awareness or normal conscious mind. As I've said in my previous recordings, meditation is not limited to relaxing practices, but relaxing has lots of health benefits, especially in this day and age. So your nervous system physically connects your brain to your body through your spinal cord and through the nerves that come out of your spinal cord. When your body relaxes, your nervous system changes and you go into what is known as the parasympathetic nervous system. Blood flows away from your muscles into your organs, your mind relaxes, your heart rate drops. They also call this nervous system the rest and digest nervous system. So the central nerve of your parasympathetic nervous system is called the vagus nerve. It is activated when you relax. But you have two different vagus nerves, the reptilian and the mammalian. When your reptilian vagus nerve is activated, your heart isn't activated. The reptilian vagus nerve excludes a connection with the heart. So when you relax, you feel numb, and in some cases, you paralyze physically as well. The mammalian vagus nerve includes a connection with the heart. So when it's activated, you feel connected and social, and you feel like looking into people's eyes. Just like mammals, when they relax, they lounge around with their friends. So activating your heart, practicing heart coherence ensures that you activate the mammalian vagus nerve and not the reptilian vagus nerve. And it ensures that you feel socially connected instead of numb and withdrawn in your state of relaxation. Most of us naturally activate the mammalian vagus nerve when we enter the parasympathetic nervous system. But if you are suffering with PTSD, depression, or severe stress or burnout, the chances of activating the reptilian vagus nerve increases. And also, if for a long period of time you've been practicing forms of meditation, which I like to call warrior meditations, which focus on changing your energy without paying attention to heart coherence. You may be changing your default vagus nerve, but cutting yourself off from your heart and your emotions has energetic consequences that limit your ability to resonate and navigate into the higher states of consciousness in meditation. So your heart has the largest electromagnetic energy field of any organ in your body. So heart coherence is basically allowing your entire body, your entire system to become in sync with the energy of your heart. And your heart is the only part of you that has the ability to do that, because your heart's energy field is much stronger than your brain's energy field. So your brain's energy field does not have the power to unify your entire system. Now let me give you this visual example. I'd like you to imagine that your energy is like a glass ball. So when your energy is coherent, when you are in heart coherence, that glass ball is full, it's round, it's unfractured, unbroken. But if your energy is incoherent, so you're not in heart coherence, that glass ball is fractured. And the strongest part of your energy is only as strong or as large as the largest piece of glass. So your ability to heal and to integrate in meditation will only be as strong and as large as that largest piece of glass. And the state of consciousness that you can navigate to or that you can experience in meditation will only be as large and as strong as that largest piece of glass. But when you enter meditation and your energy is coherent, you have full capacity, full ability to navigate to wherever you want to go to. And also you have your full capacity and full ability to heal and integrate experiences that you want to heal and integrate. Your heart also has a brain known as the heart brain. And when you start to unravel your beliefs in your meditation practice, or maybe through life circumstances, and right becomes wrong and wrong becomes right, or maybe neither exist and your whole world disappears, your heart can and will keep you sane in that process. And there are many beautiful emotional qualities associated with heart coherence, like compassion, forgiveness, love, courage. And if you can practice these emotions, then I suggest that you do. But practicing heart coherence can be a practice of balance and neutrality and basic presence and awareness. And sometimes when you just start practicing, or when life gets really challenging, it's difficult to get into those high emotional states like love and compassion. And you just really need to ground into the present moment. And your heart is a beautiful anchor for grounding into the present moment. So in those cases, just become aware of your heart. Breathe into your heart. Acknowledge its presence. And that is how simple it is. So most of the work is in the preparation. If you've strengthened your ability to access heart coherence, if you've practiced passing your critical factor, shifting into your subconscious mind, and if you've chosen a method of meditation that you really like and that can get you into deeper states of trance and relaxation, then you will bump into your higher awareness. Your higher awareness can take you wherever you want to go in your meditation practice, and it can even adjust your energy for you for astral traveling. And astral traveling is the traveling that you do with your non-physical body, with the non-physical you. So if you want to understand what's going on when you navigate the non-physical realms, you need to create a language for yourself, for understanding and for translating the information in the subconscious into your normal conscious awareness and normal conscious mind. Now, your higher awareness could use the language that you're already using in your normal conscious mind and normal conscious awareness. But when that happens, you usually don't notice it, or you start to doubt and question where the information is coming from and whether the experience was really from your subconscious or whether it was in your normal conscious mind and you're just imagining things. So it's handier to create a language for yourself that is only designated for when you are traveling and exploring your subconscious mind. And that language is completely unique to you and depends on what you want to do in your meditation, because it can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. It can be your own memories, experiences, symbols, thought constructs, or you could actually study a spiritual or mystical system or tradition, which are usually more complex. And I can't compare and contrast systems because I only practice the Anahata yoga system. So my advice would be to study and research and really follow your interests. And you can also ask your higher mind to guide you. When you go into meditation, just request a symbol or feeling or an image from your higher mind that you can then explore further in your normal conscious awareness. It might be helpful to know that we all have psychic senses or inner senses that we can practice and awaken. And these psychic senses basically pick up on subtle information and then translate them into normal conscious awareness. So seeing images, having energy translated into visual images. Feeling things in the physical body, so having subtle information translated into physical sensations. Hearing things, so having subtle information transformed into sound frequencies, pitches, and sometimes even voices. Knowing things, so having subtle information transformed into concepts or thought structures. And sometimes these are also referred to as downloads. And what's less common is smelling and tasting things. So having subtle information transformed into fragrances and tastes. My mom has that. And spirit guides. So having subtle information transformed into spirit entities, personalities, angels, animals, whatever speaks to you. So that was the end of this recording, and that concludes my 3-part series laying out the foundation of meditation. And I hope that what I've shared was valuable and will support your practice, whatever method you choose to practice. Many blessings and Hari Om.